Perfect. We are continuing 9.7, and we're continuing on with the Pascal's triangle or the binomial theorem. And sometimes it's just better to use a binomial theorem. I know some of you will concentrate on using the sixth row of Pascal's triangle and working through this. The only thing is, on every single problem, would you really want to rewrite or would you rather have a shortcut? So while yes, you do have the option to have this row written out, and I know that right now everything is open note, so you'd be fine to just do that. Otherwise, it's going to be to your benefit, I think, on this next slide, of knowing this formula, excuse me, and doing the sixth row for n, C2, because it's the third term. We start with 0, 1, 2, and then we can work through the problem that way. So that's what I'm going to teach this. So anytime you're doing a particular term, it's I'm trying to think of what variable I want to use. Maybe I'll use t for term. I don't know if that's normal. But you want to subtract 1, because I already pointed out that the first term is 0 here. The second term is 1 right here. So that's why you want to take the term minus 1. And then you always start with the first piece, which in this case, I'm kind of hesitant to write it out. But it's 3x is the first piece to the nth term. And then the second piece, which is 2y, to the, and it might make more sense if you look back at the formula, that the exponent on the second term, the y term on this one, is the same as the exponent, or sorry, the second piece of your combination. T minus 1. Because I don't do this very often, I don't do the problem this way very often, that's why I don't have it consistent, like you always use this letter, you always use this letter. But I will explain it using Pascal's triangle as well. So this is 6 because it's the sixth row. C, the third term, so you're going to put 2 here. 3 minus 1 is 2. And you do 3x to the 6. Something's wrong here. Yep, definitely glad I pointed out that I don't do this method very often, because it's only the first term that's to the nth power. The second term is to the n minus 1 power. The third term is to the n minus 2 power. So this n changes depending on what term you're doing. And because it's the third term, it's to the that t minus 1 power. So 6 minus 2, 2y to the t minus 1 power, which would be 2. Another way of thinking of this is this exponent, this is why I knew I was doing it wrong, is always the difference between these two. So 6 minus 2 would give me to the 4th power. I've made enough mistakes. I just want to go to a calculator at this point where you can type in math over to your probability 6c2. So we're looking at 15, which again we could have confirmed from Pascal's triangle. If I go back to Pascal's triangle, I know I'm all over the place, but the third term would have had a coefficient of 15. And then make sure you take both 3 to the 4th power and x to the 4th power. So we're looking at 3 to the 4th power should be 81. So times 81 x to the 4th. And then make sure you do both 2 and y to the 4th power. Or sorry, 2nd power now. So it's 4y squared. As you look at your options, I hope you cross off option 2 and option 3 right away. And while we're at it, we might as well cross off option 1 because the exponents are not correct. But let's confirm that this is the right coefficient. Let's see, 15 times 81 times 4 is 4860, and that was absolutely right. So this answer is option 4. I know some students, what they'll do, and I know I've run out of space, is they'll make Pascal's triangle of 1, 6, 15, and then they'll stop right there because they've already gotten to the third term, which is what we want, and then write out 3x to the 6 plus 3x to the 5th, 2y plus, and then 3x to the 4th, and then 2y squared. And again, you don't really have to worry about anything past that because we want that answer. And what you'll see is that matches perfectly to this one. Okay, so hopefully I'm going to leave that right there, but hopefully I have enough space to explain exercise 5. And you can still read the problem. In standard form, what's the middle term of this expansion? So we're in the 8th row. Switch colors. And if you remember, I said it quickly in the first video, and even if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now, is there is 9 terms. So for every row that you have, there's one more than the number row that you're in, that the number of terms that you have. So could you find the 8th row in Pascal's triangle, which I believe I added to our notes yesterday? Yeah, you could. And you could say, okay, 1, 8, 28, 56. The middle term is 70. And you can confirm that that is correct. That there were 9 terms in that row. But I want to teach it using the other formula. And that would be 8C4. And then it's the first term, which is 2x. You subtract those two numbers. And if you're confused why it's still 8C4, it's because the first term is 0. So the 5th term really is 4. Hopefully that makes sense. And then -3 is taken to the 4th power. So without doing any math, I already know that I should have a positive answer because a negative to an even power is going to be a positive answer. Now you could go to your calculator, but we already verified that 8C4 is equal to 70. 2 to the 4th power, 2, 4, 8, 16. And then we actually just did 3 to the 4th power is 81 up here. So all I need is a calculator. And yes, I do realize you want a calculator to do these problems. To get 90,720. 90,720, option 3. But you are more than welcome to use Pascal's triangle and write out the entire binomial expansion. But you only need that middle piece, that middle term, which is why we have that. So like on this one, they only want the last term. So you could write it all out. It's 1, 6, blah, 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 blah. But remember the last term in every single row has a 1. Now what does that actually correspond to is 6C6, because it's the 6th row. 3x, well, what's the difference between those two? It's to the 0 power, and then the last term, which is -2y, is all taken to the 6th power, which should be confirmed if you really understand everything, because once we get to the last term, it's always that second piece, -2y to the 6th, and we've exhausted all the x's, all the 3 x's. So as you look at this, I hope now you have the correct answer. 2 and 4 are bad options, and 3 is a bad option because a negative to a even power is a positive answer. And you can confirm that that would be right. Usually there's a line over here that says option 1, but I'm missing it. Anyway. So the next one, what would be the exponent of x in the second term of this expansion? Again, you can feel free to write out the whole thing using Pascal's triangle. I believe it's 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And remember, this first one would be x squared, oops, forgot my squared, to the 4th. And then the next one would be x squared to the 3rd. Over here, x squared to the 1st, but you don't have to write it. And then you would have -1 over x. Now, it actually makes sense to write x to the -1st to the 4th. Negative x to the -1st. Anyway, I don't even care about these numbers. I'm just trying to make sure I'm writing the right thing. To the negative, to the second, excuse me. And then this one is negative x to the negative first. Remember, that's what it means to be 1 over x to the first power. And then there's nothing here. But again, I actually don't even care about these other things. Oops, thought I changed colors. Do like a faint yellow. We don't care about these other ones. We only want the second term. So as you simplify that, you can see that a negative to an odd power stays negative. It's just 1 over x. Power to a power, you multiply those exponents, so it becomes x to the 6. And that 4 doesn't have anything to multiply by. But actually, we only care about the exponent of x. And when you subtract your exponents, you end up with x to the 5th. I think they've left this 4 here because that's the coefficient, but they don't ask for the coefficient. They ask for the exponent of x of the second term of the expansion. Oops. All right, now I do have one last problem that is a little bit different than what we're kind of switching gears, but I wanted to make sure to do a problem that involves stats for those interested in statistics. And it's the binomial theorem. And you have a formula right here, and I think it's best just to explain it through an example. But if you have any questions, by all means, write them down and bring them to class. Email me and let me know how I can help. Because what and pause the video and read the directions, I think that would be helpful, is if we know the probability of succeeding in something, we want to try to see all of the, I guess, the probability of something happening. So what I'm doing is I'm exploring a softball player who typically gets a hit 1 out of every 4 times she goes to bat. So the probability of getting a hit, that would be a success. So that's why it's a P. It would be 1 out of 4. Which means the probability of a failure, so she fails 3 times out of 4. And I'm trying to break this down so you understand why we have this statement right here. So if we know she'll get to bat 3 times in the game, what's the probability she gets exactly 2 hits? Okay, you're probably thinking not very likely. But let's start with part A. What are the possibilities of the number of hits this player gets? Well, the first 2, I'm going to use H for hits. She could get a hit first, a hit second, and then I'll use M for a miss. It doesn't really matter if you understand softball or not. That's one way that she gets exactly 2 hits. Another possibility is she gets a hit first. Whoops, I didn't want that. Then she misses, and then she hits. Or she could miss, then get a hit, and then get another hit. So what we've come up with is 3 different ways. So where does that come? Like, how do we figure that out? Well, it's from 3 chances she gets to get exactly 2 hits. And if you go through the process of a combination, 3 factorial over 1 factorial, 2 factorial, you'll get exactly 3. So there's 3, that's what this NCK is for. There's 3 ways that can happen. I think I accidentally answered right here. How many different ways could each of these possibilities occur? So what are and now we figured out there are 3 possibilities. And that comes from 3C2. So where does the P to the K come from? Well, the probability of getting a hit would be 1 out of 4, and we want that to happen twice. And then that means the other time she has to miss, that's why its Q is 3 out of 4, and we want that to happen exactly once. But then we have to multiply that answer by 3 to get that final answer. So the probability, so basically what I'm doing is these 2 pieces are just finding the probability of 1 occurrence, and then we have to multiply by 3 because there's 3 of them. And I'm going to save this one for in class because I'm at my time limit on this video.